Upper House of Parliament passes supplementary appropriation bill. This story and more in the National Report.
Did you know that the National Policy on Sports and Physical Activity has a cradle-to-grave concept? The objectives of the draft policy focuses on inclusiveness of all ages. It includes providing an enabling and non-discriminatory environment that will motivate citizens to actively participate in sports on all levels and across all age groups, to provide athletes from every sporting discipline who demonstrate the ability to become world-class performers with the opportunity to excel at that level, and providing all Grenadians with the opportunity to develop a solid technical foundation in sports. You have an opportunity to make further recommendations for the effectiveness of the National Policy on Sports and Physical Activity by attending the reconsultation meetings in your area. Get involved.
With the details to the news for Tuesday, 11th October 2022, I am Abigail McIntyre. The Upper House of Parliament has given government the approval for $194,702,991 in additional funds to service the state of Grenada for the fiscal year 1st January to 31st December 2022. Leader of Government Business in the Senate, Honorable Adrian Thomas, who tabled the bill during a meeting of the House at Mount Welldale on Tuesday, explained that one of the main reasons is to ensure access to the $60 million needed for retroactive pension payments to public workers who have retired from the service.
The issue of pension that we have been talking about as a political organization since 2013. Madam President, the day is finally here. And we make no bones about that. The people, the workers in Grenada, Carriacou and Matnik, who have worked for 20, 30, 40 years in the service and left the service quietly, having to resort to poverty. We are here today to seek the approval for this bill so that these people will have a different life and a change in terms of changing their lifestyle, in terms of going forward. Madam President, there are other programs that we wanted to implement from June to the end of December. I am sure that every parent that has a child, or children going to school, pre-primary, primary, secondary, today, as I speak, they are enjoying the privilege of not having to pay school fees and school charges.
Senator Thomas said also soaking up most of the funds from the supplementary appropriation bill are the more than 200 infrastructural projects. Most of these projects were started under the previous administration and require additional funds to pay contractors and workers as well as to complete other projects.
Out of that $194,702,991, the Ministry of Infrastructure, Physical Development, Public Utilities, Civil Aviation, and Transport will be taking up a big chunk of that, over $88 million. And this is necessary because the refurbishment and extension of some of government buildings must take place, Madam Speaker. The debushing program is a program that some people look forward to. It's a program, it's not the best for our people, but at this point in time, on a short-term basis, it is necessary. But rest assured, it is a program we will transform. It is a program that this administration will transform. Madam Speaker, there are a number of the Molineux Road, which was catered for maybe a couple of years ago. Today, the cost of material has increased significantly. With the war in the Ukraine, that has affected this project. And therefore, what you have anticipated cannot work today. So we need to beef up that. Madam Speaker, drains has to be addressed. The repair of schools.
Government has received resounding support from senators in the upper house for the Supplementary Appropriation Act. Government Senator the Honorable Gloria Thomas spoke to the effects on the country of global external situations like the COVID-19 pandemic and the war in Ukraine, which have left many struggling to survive. She says the Supplementary Appropriation Bill will cater to some of the families and businesses who are finding it difficult to make ends meet.
The government has decided that there must be an increase in the assistance given to families to help them to cushion the effects. This government is a caring government that has pledged to put people first and provide opportunities for all. And so, Madam President, of special interest and concern is carriacou. Over the years, carriacou has been left out of the seed program. But the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs has decided to include carriacou and pitimatnik at this time so that residents on the Sister Isle who are in need will get some form of financial support, just as people on the mainland. And so, Madam President, a total amount of 9.1 million is requested for the Ministry of Social and Community Development, Housing and Gender Affairs. 8 million to increase SIDS benefits, assisting burial, medical and transportation, and 1.1 million to accommodate payments to seed beneficiaries in carriacou. Madam President, with this structured plan in place, I fully give my support to the Supplementary Appropriation Bill.
Minister for Health, Wellness and Religious Affairs, the Honorable vgh'n Lacrette, says his ministry will receive about $2 million from the Appropriation Fund to continue critical work in the health sector. He gave his resounding support to the bill.
The categorical representations of 1, Princess Alice Hospital, Princess Royal Hospital, Community Health Services, General Hospital, and also General Administration begs the little bit over $2 million appropriation that we received. Seeing that a number of our capital projects are funded, we are well on our way in some areas to ensure that the infrastructural development that is needed on many of our facilities is done. 1 or 2 by the end of the year, and there are some, Madam President, it will go into 2023. It's just the reality and beyond, based on our medium-term and long-term strategic imperatives. Yes? So as a result of that, the appropriation for the categories is quite huge, simply because, for example, when it comes to general administration, the human resource capacity, Madam President, if any one of us fall along here right now, God forbid, and have to be rushed to the general hospital, based on your condition, I am not quite sure whether or not, if it's a heart condition or some other condition, we will be able to maybe stabilize you, but at some point we may have to fly you out, because some essential specialist services are critically missing from our health sector. It's the reality, and it's the truth. So as it relates to general administration, Ministry of Health ministerial complex staffing, as well as outsourcing the specialist professionals so that we can fill those capacity gaps, it's going to cost us some.
Private sector representative, the Honorable Salim Rahman, says with the increase in the cost of building material, he understands why the additional funds will be necessary to continue government projects and programs.
I recognize the importance of this supplementary budget seeking the assistance, because we know in the private sector that the prices of materials have changed. A large portion of this budget is for capital projects I've noticed. And for example, we've noticed that steel, the price has doubled. So it is expected that they would have to ask.
This is the National Report. More news after the break.
Prepare for hurricane. Prepare for hurricane. Make sure you have your radio and your batteries too. Waterproof flashlight, candles will do. Tin stuff, garbage bag, first aid kit. Come on people, make sure you have it. Clean water in a container and a hurricane plan. Hear me no man.
Hurricane damage is beyond your control. Surviving the aftermath is up to you. Have a hurricane plan. It can save your life and your family too.
Prepare for hurricane. Your hair, prepare for hurricane.
Schools are not barred from using traditional methods to raise funds, whether through their alumni or other traditional forms. That assurance by Senator the Honorable David Andrew, Minister for Education, Youth, Sports and Culture. He was responding to questions posed by opposition senators Nealon Franklin and Noland Cox regarding the removal of school fees during Tuesday's meeting of the Upper House. Senator Andrew outlined what the policy decision emphasizes.
These funds will not be raised via the medium of charging the students, their parents or guardians, right? So that part is eliminated. What we want to emphasize too is that schools are indeed authorized to, in fact it's expected, and that was communicated to schools, that in the case where a particular deliverable is supposed to be given to a student, as in a branded PE uniform, and the senator did make mention to a particular jersey or shirt or something of that sort, then the anticipation is that a fee will be paid and borne by the parent or guardian. But in relation to general fees, what we call security, over the years we've grown accustomed to hearing about security fees, lab fee, games fee. These fees that have been traditionally approved by the Ministry of Education have now been withdrawn.
Senator Andrew added that his government, through the Ministry of Education, consulted with principals of both primary and secondary schools on the issue to ensure that they will not be left in a dire financial situation as a result of the removal of the school fees, such as games, security, and lab fees. He says a cabinet submission was made and the conclusion already given, and as such, the ministry moved to pay these fees calculated at a standard fee per child in secondary and primary school system, which will be used to assist in the day-to-day operations of the institutions.
We have moved to pay those fees calculated as I've outlined, $75 per child at the secondary level per annum, $45 at the level of primary, $45 per child per annum at the level of the primary school students. And I'm pleased to indicate that we have also started to do that at a rate of about $30 per preschooler. And along with that, I'm very pleased to report to this Honorable House that for the first time in the history of our school setting in the education sector, we have introduced the payment of a subvention to unattached preschools. That has never been in the case before. We've had primary schools and secondary schools receiving subventions from the state. That's been as far back as we know. But for the first time, we've introduced a subvention for unattached preschools. We recognize how important early childhood education is, and we want to make sure we give our educators in that setting the best opportunity to deliver the quality service that will see them starting in the best possible way.
Government has increased its subvention to support the 45th annual Carriacou Parang Festival. Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and Local Government, the Honorable Tevin Andrews, said during the recent launch of the festival on the Sister Isle that government intends to continue the preservation of the cultural heritage. Minister Andrews said that the increase in funds will contribute toward the growth and development of the festival for years to come. The festival will be held from Friday, December 16th to Sunday 18th under the theme Embracing Our Culture Through Strings and Carols.
As a government and as Minister for Carriacou and Petit Martinique, we understand the importance of building and preserving our cultural heritage. The Parang is 45 years this year. And with that, we recognize that we have to keep the tradition alive so that it can grow from strength to strength. And over the years, government has been making contribution to the Parang Committee, the festival, very small. And we decided that this year, for the first time in Parang's history, that Parang will receive not $25,000 from the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs, but $100,000 from the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs. This is how committed we are in growing the festival.
Minister Andrews also used the opportunity to appeal for greater support for the festival from businesses and individuals.
When our festival activities grow, Carriacou and Petit Martinique grows. And for Carriacou and Petit Martinique to grow, it means that every business, every individual, all of us must be on board to participate in one way or the other. The business community in particular benefits a lot whenever activities like this are put on. And I'm a bit disappointed that more businesses have not yet come forward. But maybe after the launch, Mr. Modest, more businesses will come on board to make a contribution. As small or as large as it is, it will be welcome.
Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Carriacou and Petit Martinique Affairs and Local Government, Mr. Javon Williams, also pledged the ministry's support.
With the mandate of the minister, the ministry is given the task to ensure that the Parang Festival goes as planned for 2022. We are committed in all way possible, financial and otherwise, to give the support necessary to ensure that the festivity is successful.
Chairman of the festival, Mr. Angus Modest, said that the Parang Committee has a lot in store for this year's festival.
This year, we are extremely proud to say that we have reintroduced the Friday night Hosanna singing competition, in which we have a total of 9 bands registered so far. The Saturday night will see a combination of regional and local artists, such as the soca sensation from Trinidad and Tobago, Lyrical. Also, from Trinidad and Tobago, the reggae phenomena, Isasha, together with the unit band from Grenada, Golden from Carriacou, and other local acts. On Sunday, 18th of December, our most look forward night will showcase string band melee competition at its truly best. We have a total of 6 bands registered so far. This year's festival promises to be a very exciting one.
That story brings us to the end of the National Report for today, Tuesday, 11th October 2022. Recapping the top story, Upper House of Parliament passes a supplementary appropriation bill. On behalf of the entire news team here at the Government Information Service, I am Abigail McIntyre. Thank you for viewing.